Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I want to talk about an idea that I find both practical and empowering. Your body has its own biological pharmacy. When we hear the word pharmacy, we usually think about medications. And of course, medications are extremely important in Parkinson's care. But the body also produces powerful chemicals, signals, and repair processes of its own. The question is, how do we activate them? So today, we are going to look at 5 areas that can influence the body's internal biology: exercise, sleep, gut health, nutrition, and stress recovery. I want to be clear from the beginning. This is not about replacing medical care. This is not about blaming anyone for symptoms. And this is not about saying there is one magic solution. It is about understanding that daily choices, when done safely and consistently, can support the body's resilience. That is the idea behind your biological pharmacy. Let's begin with exercise. For people living with Parkinson's, exercise is not just about staying fit. It can be one of the most important tools for supporting brain health. When we move with enough consistency and safe intensity, the body and brain respond. Movement can stimulate helpful biological signals that support nerve cells and the connections between them. One of the most important of these signals is called BDNF, which stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. A simple way to think about BDNF is this. BDNF acts like fertilizer for the brain. Just as fertilizer helps plants grow stronger, BDNF helps support the health, communication, and adaptability of brain cells. This connects to another important idea: neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means the brain's ability to adapt, reorganize, and build new pathways. That matters in Parkinson's because the brain is working harder to send and receive movement signals. So when we talk about exercise, we are not just talking about muscles. We are talking about giving the brain repeated signals that say, keep adapting, keep connecting, keep working. Now, that does not mean everyone needs to become an athlete. The goal is not perfection. The goal is safe, consistent movement that fits your body, your symptoms, your stage of Parkinson's, and your medical guidance. For some people, that may be walking. For others, it may be cycling, boxing, dancing, stretching, strength training, balance work, physical therapy, or seated movement. The most important point is this: movement is medicine-like, but it needs to be personalized. So the question becomes, what kind of movement can I do safely, consistently, and with purpose? Now let's talk about sleep. Many people think of sleep as simple rest, but sleep is not passive. Sleep is active maintenance. During sleep, the brain performs essential recovery work. One of the most important processes is sometimes described as the brain's cleaning system. Researchers call this the glymphatic system. During deeper stages of sleep, fluid moves through the brain and helps clear away waste products that build up during the day. That matters in Parkinson's because certain proteins, including alpha-synuclein, are associated with the Parkinson's disease process when they misfold or accumulate in harmful ways. So when we talk about sleep, we are not just talking about feeling rested the next morning. We are talking about the brain's nighttime maintenance cycle. For many people with Parkinson's, sleep can be difficult. There may be insomnia, restless sleep, vivid dreams, REM sleep behavior disorder, nighttime urination, pain, stiffness, anxiety, or medication-related issues. So the message here is not just sleep better. That would be too simplistic. The real message is sleep deserves serious attention as part of Parkinson's care. It is worth discussing sleep quality with your care team. Not just how many hours you are in bed, but how restorative that sleep actually is. A useful question to ask is, what can we do to improve my sleep quality, not just my sleep quantity? Because when sleep improves, many other things may improve too. Energy, mood, thinking, movement, stress tolerance, and quality of life. Sleep is part of the biological pharmacy because nighttime is when the body and brain do some of their most important repair work. Next, let's look at the gut. Many people are surprised to learn that Parkinson's often affects digestion. Constipation, bloating, and other gut symptoms are very common. In some people, digestive issues may even appear years before movement symptoms. That tells us something important. Parkinson's is not only a brain condition, it affects the brain-body system. One of the major communication pathways between the gut and the brain is the vagus nerve. Think of it as a biological communication highway. The gut also contains trillions of bacteria, often called the microbiome. These bacteria influence digestion, inflammation, immune activity, and the health of the gut lining. When the microbiome is out of balance, it is sometimes called dysbiosis. That does not mean one food causes Parkinson's or one diet cures Parkinson's. It means that food patterns can influence the internal environment of the body. A fiber-rich eating pattern can help support beneficial gut bacteria. These bacteria can produce substances called short-chain fatty acids, which may help support healthier inflammation balance and gut barrier function. For many people, a practical starting point is a Mediterranean-style eating pattern. That usually means more vegetables, fruits, beans, lentils, whole grains, nuts, olive oil, and fish, with fewer highly processed foods. But nutrition in Parkinson's must be individualized. Some people have swallowing issues, some have weight loss, some have diabetes, some have constipation, some need to think carefully about protein timing because it can affect how levodopa works. Some have nausea or appetite changes. So the key message is, food is not a cure, but food patterns can support resilience. And the best nutrition plan is one that works with your symptoms, your medications, your medical conditions, and your care team. Now let's talk about stress. Most people with Parkinson's notice that symptoms can worsen during stress. Tremor may increase, stiffness may feel worse, walking may become harder, speech may change, sleep may suffer, digestion may slow down, mood and anxiety may become more difficult. This is not all in your head. Stress has real biology behind it. When the body perceives stress, it can release stress chemicals such as cortisol and activate the fight-or-flight system. That response is useful in short bursts. It helps us respond to danger or pressure. But when stress becomes chronic, the nervous system can stay activated for too long, and that activation uses energy. This is very important in Parkinson's because the brain and body may already be working harder than usual. So when stress adds another layer of demand, symptoms may feel amplified. That is why stress management is not simply emotional support. It is also an energy conservation strategy. The goal is not to eliminate all stress. That is impossible. Life includes stress. The goal is to help the nervous system recover more effectively after stress. That may include slow breathing, mindfulness, gentle stretching, music, prayer, time outdoors, counseling, support groups, social connection, or simply building more recovery time into the day. The key idea is, calming the nervous system matters because stress uses energy. And in Parkinson's, energy is precious. This brings us to the Stress Recovery Toolkit. A toolkit is personal. What works for one person may not work for another. The goal is to identify a few reliable practices that help your body reset. Think of this as building a menu of recovery options. One tool might be breathing. For example, slowing the breath can send a signal to the nervous system that you are safe. Even a few minutes of slower breathing may help shift the body away from fight or flight. Another tool might be nature. Time outdoors, sunlight, fresh air, or simply sitting near trees or water can help some people feel more regulated. Another tool might be music. Music can influence mood, rhythm, movement, and emotional state. For some people with Parkinson's, rhythm and music can even support movement cues. Another tool might be support. That can mean family, friends, a Parkinson support group, counseling, a faith community, a coach, or a care partner conversation. The point is not to do everything. The point is to choose a few tools that fit your life. A good stress recovery toolkit is simple, repeatable, and realistic. You might ask yourself, what helps me settle? What helps me feel safe? What helps my body reset? What can I practice before stress becomes overwhelming? Because recovery is not only something we do after a crisis. Recovery is something we can build into daily life. And when recovery becomes more consistent, the body may have more capacity for movement, sleep, digestion, mood, and daily function. So let's bring this all together. Your biological pharmacy is not one thing. It is a system. Exercise can support brain signaling and neuroplasticity. Sleep can support restoration and cleaning. Nutrition and gut health can support resilience. Stress recovery can help calm the nervous system and conserve energy. None of these replaces medication. None of these replaces a neurologist, physical therapist, dietitian, counselor, or other professional support. But together, they can become part of a more complete Parkinson's care strategy. The most empowering message is this: you may not control every symptom, but you can influence the environment in which your brain and body function. That is what taking control means. Not control through pressure, not control through blame, not control through unrealistic expectations, but control through informed, consistent, compassionate action. So as you leave today, I would encourage you to choose one area to focus on. Maybe it is moving more consistently. Maybe it is asking your doctor about sleep quality. Maybe it is adding more fiber-rich foods. Maybe it is building a simple stress recovery practice. Maybe it is reaching out for support. Start small. Make it safe. Make it repeatable. And build from there. Because your body's biological pharmacy is not something you visit once. It is something you activate every day. Thank you.